Hey there. So, if you're watching this right now, I just want to tell you a quick story. It won't be very long. I was once in a mental prison. 6 years ago, back in 2017, I was pretty depressed. I was suicidal and I was on medications. I was an alcoholic and I was almost 300 pounds. That was one of my first mental prisons, when I was at that low state, didn't want to live anymore and stuff like that. I really didn't know better. I didn't know how to get out of that. It's kind of funny in a way because I did get out of that eventually, as you might have heard through my stories. I overcame that darkness that I was in. But then there came this new form of mental prison. That was when I started to go through my weight loss journey, and I don't really talk about it a lot, but I've actually tried every diet. Tried the keto, tried the vegan and stuff, even just different practices and stuff. It can happen with diets and exercise regimes and just following fitness influencers and podcasts and gurus and experts and professionals, regardless of where they're from. They could be a doctor, they could just be some spiritual guru. What can happen is we can give our power away to them or to that. It creates this sort of restrictive barrier in our lives where we believe that this way of eating is the only way. As we see often in the carnivore and vegan communities, for me, that's a really good example of that. We have the vegans telling us that this is the only way, this is the best way. Then we have carnivores telling us that this is the only way, this is the best way. What happens is when you're in those spectrums, you literally believe that this is the only way and this is the best way. And that's what I thought when I was vegan. I literally I bought into this spiritual thing. And I'm not saying anything against anybody who's vegan. My dad's vegan. He's been vegan all my life. And I have lots of friends that are. I'm just trying to tell you the story of my own personal experience with restriction and being in that mental prison. I fully subscribe to that idea that this is the only way. Nothing's better than this. And when I tried the carnivore, I was like, this is the only way. Nothing's better than this. And it created this restriction because I was missing out on freedom. I was missing out on the love of other foods and stuff like that. Foods that can actually have nourishment to it. The way I see it is, there's merit to both sides. There's benefits to vegan and carnivore. What would happen if we brought them together? And honestly, that's just an example, but you can use that within anywhere in society. It can be political parties, different religions and stuff like that. Ultimately, there's a little bit of truth in everything. And so I'm all about bringing that together and getting out of that mental prison, because you can feel stuck. And when you get caught listening to a podcast that you love and a lot of the information is great, you can almost become a cult follower and you believe that any information outside of that is false because you've developed sort of this relationship with it. It's similar to when we believe only certain things that our parents taught us, because as children, even if our parents are extremely abusive, we're naturally inclined to trust them 100% and give our faith in them. And so anything outside of what other people tell you, you're not really going to believe, And so I'm really all about just empowering yourself and taking your power back so that those decisions and the ultimate result comes from you giving your power away to others. So, there's all these different ways of how we can be in a mental prison. And for me, like I said, it was beginning when I was depressed, suicidal, and alcoholic and stuff. When you're addicted to something, you become a slave to your addiction. I always describe being addicted, just cigarettes as an example. It's like somebody's nagging at you 24/7, and that's not fun. So you want to be able to sort of shed that. Be careful of just being trapped in a mental prison. Anyway, that being said, I'm starting my 3-month program this week, and I'm looking for more people to join. It's going to be no more than 10 people. It's an intensive group. By June 1st, I want you to have the tools and just have that shift internally to be an entirely new version of yourself. You literally can be an entirely new person by June 1st, and probably even before. It doesn't take that long to make that internal shift. When you make that internal shift, your whole world outside of you starts to change. So that's what I want to help people with. Whether you want to lose weight, get fit, build muscle, or whatever it may be, that's what I'm doing. And it's going to be awesome, exciting adventure. And I'm hoping to see